Hey there, it's Michael on the back of the Papa Roach bus with Jacoby Shaddix, and we're touching knees and we're having a good time and things are going well. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm just kicking it, man. I'm here. We're Philly. I'm stoked. Just started a new year, man. 2015 is starting out quite nice. I'm feeling good.
You know what's cool about being a band that's been around for a while? Like, what is it, 15 years on Infest this year? Right?
Yeah, we're celebrating 15-year anniversary of our major label breakout, Infest, which is a trip to look back, to look back on the history of that and just go, man, time flies. It really is a trip.
But the cool thing is, like, after 15 years, like, now the bus is a lot nicer, and, like, the blinds are cool,
Yeah.
and instead of, like, talking about drugs, I overheard you having a conversation about fish oil and what things make you feel better when you're sick
Yeah,
that you
man.
can buy at Whole Foods.
It's like to have some longevity in this business, I've found that I've had to learn how to take care of myself, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because in the beginning, I was really good at beating myself up, good, like real nice, and physically, emotionally, spiritually, all that, man. And yeah, dude, I just got to a point where I'm like, all right, I want to do this like for my life. This is my passion. I don't just want to like, because I kind of had that live fast, die young attitude.
Right.
And then I kind of got over that and had kids, and I think just wanting to have a career kind of switched my focus in my life.
I read that this new album, I guess before in the past, you had gone off on tour and kind of had some fun with it.
Yeah.
And he said, like, you would just wreck yourself on tour. And the different mindset this time around, just trying to keep everything together and stay healthy and stay good. And that's produced a whole kind of different direction for Papa Roach.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we would come back from the road and I would just be a wreck, back lost in my addictions and whatnot. And, it'd be like the band jamming in a room, killing it, being like, okay, when's Kobe going to show up? And this time, on the connection, kept my head together out there on that touring cycle of that record, and brought that focus back into the studio. And it was, for me, one of the best studio experiences I've ever had in my career, recording career, writing career. Stepped into it and just P. Roach was firing on all cylinders. So, it's kind of like my living amends to my band. Like, yo, dude, I'm sorry for not showing up in the past, but I'm here.
Right.
So it's a good thing.
That's amazing. How tough is that? Because, like I said, since Infest, when you guys kind of went and blew up, 15 years, that's a lot of tours of doing that to yourself. How tough was that to go, this time, no, I'm planting a flag and doing it right?
I mean, you get burnt by the flame so many times, and, the saying, rock bottom, like, I just kept hitting that thing, man. It just got to a point where I'm like, I just can't do this anymore, man. It's like, I can't put my band through this. I can't put myself through this. I can't put my wife and my kids and my friends and my family.
Was there a thing though, like on the last tour, that made you go, this is the time, like I gotta figure some things out?
I think the last time that I kicked the bottle was the moment, you know what I'm saying? It was just that reality. Like, I keep trying this thing. Like, the definition of, I guess, insanity, or my definition of insanity, is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You know what I'm saying? And I just kept finding myself in that same old place of, brokenness, depression, loneliness, isolation, and that's no way to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, I'm supposed to be able to be out here and like celebrate this thing we call life, and go experience these cities that I'm in on days off, and not just hole up and isolate and be locked in my own box. And I don't choose to live like that anymore, and I look back now, I'm almost 3 years clean, whatnot.
Good for you.
And it's like, it's a struggle, but it's the good fight, you know what I'm saying? Because the gifts I've been given, my relationship with my band is so solid. Like, we get along so well. It's a brotherhood, I mean, don't get me wrong, we still want to stab each other in the face every once in a while, but I think that's natural when you're creative individuals. And look at this thing, we're in a bus. It's like 10 dudes on this bus for 6, 8, 9, 10 months a year. It sometimes wears you down, you know what I'm saying? But I think just having that clarity and learning how to just let people be who they are instead of me trying to control everyone and everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
There is a new record at the end of this month, actually. F.E.A.R, or Face Everything and Rise. So I would assume that all of that experience informs that new record a lot.
Yeah, most definitely. We approached this one in a totally different fashion. We came off the road, off the connection, and we just wanted to go home and just kind of decompress and not do music, or just kind of get away from it for a minute and just come back fresh. And we had some talks with some producers, and we hooked up with Kevin Churko and Kane Churko. It's a father and son production team.
Okay.
And we were like, well, we don't have any material written. They're like, fuck it, come in the studio. Let's just see what happens. And I'm like, what? Like, we're not going to get together as a band and jam before? And the band's like, nah, dude, let's just show up and just see what happens. And I'm like, okay. And so, I'd kind of walk in faith on that one. I'm like, all right, like, we're going to go to Vegas, the scene of the crime, you know what I'm saying, the scene of some of my biggest failures in my life, and I'm going to record a record there, like, with no material written. And in hindsight, it was the exact thing that I needed. I needed to go there just kind of on my toes and knowing that it's like, I don't have control of this thing. It's like I'm gonna let God run the show for me. You know what I'm saying? And we showed up in Vegas, dude, and I threw myself into this record, and it was like a floodgate had just opened. And I faced a lot of my personal fears. I dug really deep on this record. I wrote about a lot of the things that I didn't want to write about. That really kind of exposed me as not such a good person in some songs like Gravity or Broken As Me.
And Gravity's the one that's about your relationship with your wife, right?
Yeah, man, that's I pretty much go into some dirty, dark details on that track, but I think that me and my wife we believe that it's our testimony as a couple, like, that if you're going through some fucked up shit, like, maybe you can get through it. Sure. You know what I'm saying? If you forgive each other, if you really want it, you know what I'm saying? And so that track, it doesn't paint me in the best picture, you know what I'm saying? But I think that that's what it takes for me to really feel complete and feel like I contributed something of value to the music that we do. I always find that every time I really kind of make myself as the most vulnerable in the music is when we connect on a deeper level with our fans. And sure. I think that that's, for me now, I see the purpose in what I do as a musician. I see the purpose in Papa Roach, you know what I'm saying? And I see it clearly as we go out here on the road and I meet all these countless people, or I read on social media how our music just lifts people up, you know what I'm saying, out of those dark places. And for me, I'm like, all right, cool, like, I see now, like, I see the purpose in my life, and I've struggled with that, what is my purpose? I think a lot of people struggle with that in their lives, like, what is my calling? And P. Roach, man, this message, this music, this emotional connection that we have with people it's heavy, it's deep, and it's powerful.
With that, we said before, it is the 15th, year anniversary of Infest, which was the landmark Papa Roach album.
Yeah, man.
Playing that stuff now, does it still hit as hard? I know for me, Last Resort still sounds killer.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It still hits like a ton of bricks 15 years later.
Yeah.
Does it still feel that way to play it? Like, when you go out and see these people that have, joined you on all different stages of the career, do you still feel that intensity on that song in particular, actually?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That song is timeless. It's a classic. I'm so stoked. A lot of bands fight their whole career to have a classic, and, right, like, we got one in our arsenal, and that's fucking badass, you know what I'm saying? I'm super stoked. Every time we play it, it lights up an audience. It just gets people just riled up, and for me, that's a win right there.
It's interesting to me. So I was, getting ready to go into college when that song hit. Okay. I remember it being the first song on the radio that, said fuck in it in such a prominent place that they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
and they just did that, like, weird, that's that weird static thing.
Yeah.
Where
yeah, it was obnoxious, you know what I'm saying? But it
was such a huge hit, they couldn't not play it.
Yeah, dude. It was that thing was like a rocket ship ride, man. We didn't know how to handle it either with the fame and all that stuff. We were just like, okay, let's just party and rock shows,
Right.
And we had a great time touring on that record, but we toured on that one for about 2 years. It almost broke us, man. At the end of that one, we were like, I don't even know if I could do this anymore. This is like not what I expected. And then we recalibrated and made a bunch of records since.
Right. That's awesome, man. Well, look, I'm so happy for you guys, to get to celebrate that 15 years later and at the same time have such a cool new chapter.
Yeah, man.
For you personally and for the band. I think that's all great stuff. Jacoby, Shaddix, touching knees still. Like, we're up to thighs now at this point.
Yeah, I got your thigh, buddy. Hot thigh, buddy.
Electric Factory tonight in Philadelphia. Thanks so much,
man. Nice chatting with you.
Cool. I appreciate it.
Proper good interview.